Let's bring in our panel on the left and on the right. On the right, in studio with us, I'm pleased to be joined by former UPenn swimmer, and she is a senior fellow at the American Principles Project, Paula Scanlon, with us. And on the left, Democratic strategist, former New York State Senator David Carlucci. Let's flash up the poll numbers again. Mamdani, 43%, Cuomo, 33%. Sliwa will not drop out, and he is at 14, 6% undecided. All right, David, we have a lot of subjects to get to, but first off, I'll start with you. Mamdani, is this a sure thing for him? Some of the early voting is saying that there might be people a little bit older, and maybe that's good news for Cuomo.
Yeah, look, voter turnout is at record levels, so that is a good thing. I think that's a good thing for everybody in New York City. But I think what this tells me, the tea leaves that we read from this going forward, is if those poll numbers hold up and Curtis Sliwa actually comes in under 20% of the vote, that would be the lowest showing of a Republican mayoral candidate in New York City history. And I think what that says is that there's a lot of energy in the Democratic Party. There's no denying that Andrew Cuomo is as much a Democrat as Zohran Mamdani, who won the primary. And yes, there are some extremes within the two of them, but I think that speaks to the diversity of the Democratic Party. And New York City is unique to the country. We know there's no city like it in America, so the politics are going to be a little different. But I think there is a lot of energy in the Democratic Party, and it's what we do with it going forward after this election for the midterms.
Oh, there definitely are extremes between him and Cuomo. All right, let's talk about your home state of Connecticut. Paula, Democrat Jim Himes is upset that President Trump and this administration are going after narco terrorists. He says the strikes are illegal. And here's what he says, and part of it, too, is he wanted to slip in who he thinks is going to be in the White House in 2028. Let's play this.
There will be a Democratic president someday, and all my MAGA friends who are, cheering on these illegal killings need to imagine who gets killed when President Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says that it doesn't matter what the law says. She's going to do what she's going to do.
You like that little seating there? President AOC, Paula, what do you think?
I mean, is that an endorsement? He should think carefully before he throws out an endorsement for 2028. I mean, AOC is probably the worst candidate that they have possible, but I'm from Connecticut. I voted against this man. I hope to continue voting against him. But to defend President Trump's stance on these drug boats, this is very much a war. There are millions of people that have lost their lives to fentanyl that these cartels are bringing over. We have to fight back against it. And for that, I support the Trump administration. And he should find something better to defend, because this is just pathetic.
You know, Paula, 70% of Americans support this decision to blow up cartel drug boats. It does seem strange to kind of wonder who's on these boats. I mean, these are submarines. They're not fishing vessels. I mean, David, at the end of the day, they're either siding with narco terrorists or siding with illegals. Why are Democrats going to bat for people like this?
Look, I wish it was as simple as you put it, but the facts might be correct. The problem is that we don't want a president, whether it's Donald Trump, AOC, you name it, having the ability to claim anything is an emergency. Therefore, they suspend the rules of law and they're able to do unprecedented things. We have presidential powers for specific reasons. We don't want any president, including Donald Trump or whoever might precede him, to abuse that power. And that's the problem here. You might be right on the details. This might be all correct.
And the president is in charge of the military. I know some on the left don't like to realize that, but he is the president, so there is a reason for him to go do this.
I think the speaker was bringing up a precedent that we want to be careful of.
And, he did want to slide in AOC, which, of course, is pretty cute of him. So we will see. She might have some crowded field. Kamala Harris has not been shy about possibly going again. She said she's not done yet. But here's what she said. She was really pressed on. I really enjoyed this podcast. This is Diary of a CEO, and here she is sort of in the hot seat. I liked this line of questioning.
Are you friends with Joe Biden?
Yes.
Is the relationship good?
It's a good relationship.
Is it complicated?
Yes, it's very complicated. There were times that I've been quite candid about where he greatly disappointed me. And frankly, angered me.
At one point, he said, do you think he wanted you to win? And Paula, she said yes. And she said, why? Because I was the only one who could preserve his legacy. And he said, so it still was about Joe Biden. I mean, she really didn't have like a great answer. But this has been time and time. Every time she goes out to talk about her book, she knows she's going to get these questions. And I think it's going to haunt her if she does jump back into politics. What's your take on that line, that questioning?
Yeah, exactly that. President Biden's presidency was ultimately a failure. I mean, he couldn't even run for re-election, didn't even choose to do that, threw her in last minute. This is something she had to escape from, and I think the fact that she's trying to walk away from the Biden presidency shows that she has aspirations for future roles and maybe future presidential bids down the line. And so I'd be very interesting to see that. But of course, she should stray away from it because I think the Biden administration was ultimately a failure.
All right, David, I want to give you something good and positive to react to because Gavin Newsom had glowing words for Joe Biden. But you have to watch, okay, at the end. Wait for it, Jonathan Karl's face at the end.
Continue to build on the legacy, I would argue, of our former president, who I think was one of the most successful presidents in the last century, and that is Joe Biden. And I will defend that till my grave.
I mean, something's shifting. That reaction didn't end up on the cutting room floor, David. Was that an insult to you as somebody who, likes Joe Biden, that Jonathan Karl would kind of go, what?
No, I appreciate Gavin Newsom stating that because I believe that he is right. If we look at the facts, if we look at what actually was done during the circumstances and that climate that we were in, Joe Biden delivered. He got done legislation that was extremely important at the time. I know that's been clouded by a debate performance about some of the other political decisions that Joe Biden did, the deciding of the chaotic withdrawal from the Democratic primary not the Democratic primary, the general election, all problematic, of course. But if we unpeel that, if we look beyond that chaos of that moment, we see some really important legislation that still has ramifications for this day. The bipartisan infrastructure law, the CHIPS Act. We can go on and talk about the real accomplishment that
we
he
are
had.
out of time, and I know that's how you feel, and I know that's what a lot of Americans disagree with if they are now looking at this president who is actually more in command. But it is his legacy that she said she wanted to protect. David, Paula, really appreciate your comments, guys. I hope to see you back here soon.
Good to be with you. Thanks.
All right.